Hi, Garrett Christopher here. So this is part two of my inaugural Garrett's Movie Take YouTube channel, right? And so I've already talked about this is the movie we're gonna post view. We're not calling it a preview because it's been out for a while. So post view, the Blues Brothers, right? But what I was doing, hold on, my timer. But what I was doing is I was talking about remakes and how I refuse to see certain remakes. I just won't do it. So I never saw Blues Brothers, and I think it's called Blues Brothers 2000. But I never saw it, and not again that I dislike the actors that took it over. I mean, John's brother and that, and it may have been great, but to me, the Blues Brothers movie, and with John Landis as the director behind the helm, just outstanding. I mean, yeah, there are some parts here and there that have a slight lull, like any movie for the most part, but very slight. But you've got it's a musical. You've got dancing in there, and I'm not a fan of musicals. I am generally not a fan of musicals. Grease was pretty good, but it didn't make my top 100. By the way, my wife and girls love it. They'll watch it right now, no problem. Grease 1 and 2. But yeah, I mean, you got the music in there, the way it's presented, it's comical. Yes, it is rank. Yes, there are cuss words, and there are some things inappropriate for children under whatever age. So if you're 15 and you're watching this and you have not seen the original Blues Brothers, ask your parents first. You probably shouldn't watch it now, but as soon as you're 21, write this down somewhere, put it in your phone, whatever, write it down. As soon as you hit 21, watch it, because you're going to enjoy it. If you're 70 years old, never saw it because you kind of missed that time. You were 50 when it came out, and now you're 70 or 80, and you're like, please, just watch it, okay? A lot of iconic figures, music figures. We've got, James Brown in there. You have Aretha Franklin in there, Cab Calloway, just all kinds of people. And unfortunately, some have passed on since then. But it's just, okay, let me say this. And I talked about this in the first little segment there, that I'm going to be presenting some things with this, get off my lawn type of mindset, right? I have a hard time making a list of current movies. And we'll say movies in the last 15 years, okay? Last 15 years. That are special in the comedic realm. Now, they're sci-fi, of course, because of all of the special effects now, right? It's just like, it's incredible, right? So just for the eye candy alone, some of these things are just superb. And dramas, you still have some great actors and actresses out there. And I mean, it's in there in storylines. But comedy, and I think stand-up comics are, I see stuff now that I think is just as good as it was, back Richard Pryor's and Red Fox and Eddie Murphy early on and that kind of thing. I think that, people, young, men and women are just as good today with stand-up. I don't know. I don't know if it's just, there's just a combination of taking the time to put it together. Plus, there is one other factor, which may or may not play into this, but there's no doubt that there are some comedies that were made before. And this is only the 80s. It's not like this thing is like 100 years old. It's only like 40 years old. But I can say this. There are some things that the original Blues Brothers got away with that wouldn't fly today, right? And trust me, there are some rank movies out, over the last 10, 15 years that have come out that are like really rank. But they stay away from certain things, right? One of the kind of like underlying tones of the Blues Brothers is that these kids grew up in an orphanage. Jake and Elwood grew up in an orphanage, and that's where they were taught the blues. And so now this whole mission from God, which that phrase may or may not fly in a movie these days, but the mission from God is to raise enough money to keep this orphanage, this house, this Catholic-run, building there from being destroyed by the city. The city, there's some taxes to pay, and they're trying to kind of tear it up. So that's their whole goal. That's the mission from God. But there are scenes there with a nun, right? That is hilarious, but some would probably see as sacrilegious and even demonic on some sides. But it's like, take it for what it is. It's a comedy. You have John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd in it, and let's not be so serious about some things. You know what I mean? For what it's worth. But yeah, maybe some of that, maybe because you can't do certain things, or you could, but you want to stay away from certain things. Maybe that's why. But I don't know. I just don't see the creativity. I don't see the attempt to kind of dot all the I's and cross all the T's, starting with just the dialogue. And I'll go even farther, I don't know which one works right now, and talk about television shows. Same thing, comedy television shows. Now, I loved The Big Bang Theory. Love it. Modern Family. Love it. Characters, I think, nailed it. And dialogue. But there's some other shows that made it for a long 8, 9, 10 years, some of them. And I'm like, who thinks this is funny? I mean, it's so played out. And I don't know, but again, that's me. And again, I know I'm coming across like the get off my lawn guy. But I don't know, you tell me. So Blues Brothers, Caddyshack, there's a couple others that I don't deem as, I like Mel Brooks, but I'm not a real big Mel Brooks fan as far as that humor. And I like, trust me, the slapstick and all that. I love it. It's funny to me. But I think in bits and pieces. But I mean, you tell me, Blues Brothers and Vacation, and not the remake. Not, I will strangle myself right here on this camera, not the remake. And nothing against Ed Helms or anyone else. It's not about a personal vendetta against certain actors. It's about, why would you redo Vacation? Why? Re-release it. Trust me, if you re-release Vacation, again, some things probably wouldn't fly so well, but it'll do just fine. For those who haven't seen it, put it out there, baby. Remaster it. If you want to do a different, instead of the Earth, Wind, and Fire, Boogie Wonderland song playing, put a different song that's more modern, whatever you want to do. But there's some things you just don't redo. I will never. And I'll say this with also, the only time that you will get me to watch the remake of Vacation is when I'm at a funeral, my funeral, and my eyes are closed for the rest of eternity. Then you can go ahead and play the movie at my funeral and let it roll, baby. That's the only time I'll ever see that movie. Sorry. And again, nothing against, I couldn't tell you, aside from Ed Helms, I don't know who else is in it. I don't know who produced it. I don't know who directed it. It might be incredible. I will not do it. I'm a little stubborn, as you can tell. Okay, so now let's finally talk about the Blues Brothers. Oh, look, I'm coming up on time. I got 30 seconds. Let me do this first, and then we'll go to part 3 of my post view on the Blues Brothers. My name is Garet Christopher. I'm a self-published author. I'm extremely opinionated, but I love banter, and I love talking about stuff, especially when we come to an agreement that I was right all along. I love it when it comes together like that. But let's talk about this stuff. I would love to hear comments about, why this is better, why that's better, and why I'm wrong for being the guy that's saying, get off my lawn. I'd love to hear it. Let's talk about it, because I truly feel that way. I will never see Arthur the remake. Never. I won't do it. Oh, there's my alarm. I gotta go. I'll see you in part 3. Take care. Turn this off first. Perfect. Now, GoPro, stop recording.